Hello guys, I want to do a painting here that I've been commissioned to do on my DreamX Studios website, and I've been commissioned to paint this picture for a person who has at least 10 or 12 of my art pieces in their collection. They're art collectors, and they have 10 or 12 of my pieces, and they have commissioned me to do this painting for their friend for her birthday. So let's just get started. I'm not going to say anything, I'm just going to paint. So here we go. And these are acrylics. Beautiful. Let's see what happens. I'm going to take a nice soft brush. Let me find one here among mine. Okay, I'll speed it up here, guys. And I just want to talk a little bit about art as you observe what I'm doing here. I got it in 4 times the speed, and but art, it's a matter of one's perspective and opinions and how they view art. Some don't view mine as art, and then some do. And but I like realism, and I like to paint pretty skies and pretty landscapes and pretty cityscapes and pretty seascapes. I've been doing it a long time, actually it'll be 50 years this year. Alright, let's touch up what I just messed up. Let's fix what I just messed up. Yeah. Yeah. They don't want to cover up so easy, does it? We'll fix it. We'll fix it. Up in here, I want this sky to be a little bit darker up in this area. Just a little bit right up in here. Because what we're going to do is bring this color down. Into an area where I can show highlights. that right there is a little bit of a hiccup, but we'll fix it. 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 With just a little paint. There ain't nothing we can't fix on here. What do y'all think? Alright, this up in here. Still got a little hint of that screw up, but I'm gonna fix it. I'm gonna cover it over. May take a few applications, but we'll do it. We'll do it. The darker I get this, up here, the more pronounced the highlights will be when we get down into this area. Okay. I thought that might speed it up. What do y'all think? Well, you got to get all these darks in here. You got to get them really dark. And the darker that you get, all the surroundings, it makes the light so much brighter. So I'm trying to get this just nearly black on this underpainting. And then when I start putting in the details and stuff and get a perspective and a composition, and we'll start working on composition here in a little bit, just as soon as this background dries. I use a dryer to speed it up on these acrylics, and I can dry this just in a couple minutes, and then I can go back to work on it without having to mix a bunch of mud into the paint and get all the colors all mixed up. So that's what I like about acrylics. You don't have to wait for those things to dry. There's a reference for my, that's a photograph of what I'm going to paint. And when we get to that point, you'll see that actually the painting will be prettier than that photograph was. I love doing this. I've done it all my life. And it is so much fun. It's so much fun to create images. I see an image, and I'm a realist. I can do contemporary art, and you know, in abstracts, all that stuff. That's just not for me. I'm more into realism. And if you'll go to my website at GaryMackStudio.com and look at my art. And if you look, I'm doing a giveaway. It ends on April the 1st. So go and sign up for that giveaway. And it shows a picture of the print that I'm going to give away from the original. And the original is for sale. It's in my my storefront in the art studio. So look me up. I'll be quiet for a minute here and just let this run. Let's see. I sped all this up and it's still nearly 2 hours long. But guys, I'm telling you, it took me, I don't know, it took me a month. It took me a month to paint this picture. Of course, I could only, my time is limited on the amount of time I can do it. And if you'll notice, I have to use both hands. And in using both hands, there's my photograph, and that's what I'm going to paint. So right now I'm just trying to get a composition, get a perspective of where these buildings are going to be. And right down in this area is where that little church is. And then that right there is just a little, some kind of island. I don't know what it is. Somebody'd have to explain to me that took the photograph. But there's a Christmas tree right in the middle of that circle. And there's some street lights and stuff around it. And that was difficult. I think I've explained before in this that I've got this nervous condition. And I've got a bad right shoulder, so if you'll notice, a lot of times I'll have to support my right hand with my left hand because of that shoulder. And I've got this nervous condition that I'm just so nervous. I can't draw a straight line anymore. You saw me whisk through those straight lines, but to get a real fine line detail, I can't do it. It's about to get where I can't even sign my name anymore. Because I am so nervous. And let's just watch it a little bit, a minute, when something comes up here. Okay, right here I'm just putting in, getting an idea of where the highlights are going to be, the windows and doors and all the stuff that goes on down on the street level. And I've got this on 4 times the speed. So you wouldn't have to sit here for 6 hours and watch this. And it's still almost 2 hours long. In fact, it's 1 hour and 59 minutes and 39 seconds. Now notice up in the sky, I was trying to get those areas as dark as possible so that those lighter areas where the sun is peeking through those clouds there on the horizon, the darker I get its surroundings, the brighter that will be. So I'm just going to keep working on that until I get a desired hue and in the likeness. Hey, y'all subscribe to Old Gary Mac Studio. This is so much fun. I started painting 1973 was the first painting I did. And I tell you what, I was a young man, and then I was making these little model cars. I love building little plastic model cars, and I'd cut the doors all open and hinge them and do all the stuff and put interiors in them. And I had some of these paints that I painted those cars with, and I had a piece of plywood there, and it had this real pretty grain in there. And I said, wow, that looks like a mountain scene. Looks like the sky and mountains in it. So I just took some of that paint and followed those lines, and sure enough, it looked like mountains. And I thought, well, that's pretty fun. And I kicked that off and started doing what I do. So we'll see how this turns out. Here is the photograph I've been commissioned to paint. It's not going to be that detailed. It's going to be impressionistic. And here's where I am so far with this. And let me zoom out a little bit so you can see where I'm at. I kind of got my sky a little bit. And now I'll start working in these buildings right here. So actually I think I'll leave it on this projection so that you can kind of see what I'm going to do. Excuse me, let me close my barn door there. All right, what I want to do, let me find the right brush. Let me find, I need a, boy, my old brushes are getting old. All right, now this building, I've got to get that point right here. So, in perspective, it's pretty close to right here. Pretty close to right there. So, I want to make a wash in the drawing. And the reason that I have to use both hands is because I've had a shoulder operation and I can't use this arm. It has to have some support. So anyway, that's why you see. Anyway, this line right here, we're going to put right here. Going to put right there, which was a little heavy. And then it goes right back up this way. And then the rooftop. Actually, this is the wrong brush. This is the wrong brush for this. Where's my chisel brushes? Where are they all right? Oh, here we go. I got it. So, these lines, they'll come here. Here, the rooftop, it's gonna go here, and back this way for the rooftop of this building. And I'm just improvising here. So we got corner of that building coming down, and then the back of it, back here. Maybe I should have went a little further. Maybe I should have went a little bit further on this rooftop, across like that, and then down, because of the rooftop skyline of this building right here. So that's, we're kind of getting a rooftop of this. Trying to get everything in perspective. The street, I might have to cut this back a little bit, like this, to get this street, this building right here. I may bring in it. Actually, it needs to come over. No, well, that's pretty good. Not bad. Let's see. And then up here, oh, this is going to be fun. This one's going to be really fun. And this old, looks like an old church building right there. Of some sort right here. We're going to put that in there too. I mean, that's pretty cool. It'll look something like this. I'm just getting all of this is just an underpainting. We'll come in and put all the detail in later. But right there is this little church. Well, I'm assuming it's a church. That's what it looks like. It's got a door, something like that. We'll get that in later. And then there's cars and buses and people in the streets and the lights. Oh, how beautiful. And then the Eiffel Tower. That's gonna be cool. That's gonna be cool because it's a completely different color than anything else on here. That Eiffel Tower is yellow. So when you walk up to this painting or to this picture, yeah, your eye's drawn to this immediately, but the contrast immediately goes to that yellow tower that nothing else has except some of these lights down in here have that yellow tint. Anyway, how fun. What's this? Let's see how this works out. Let's see how this works out. I'm just gonna add a little color right down in here where this old church might be. And then actually the street kind of comes down like this, and then the building goes up from there. Something like that. And then it's got a round door. Anyway, we got to get all these angles in there. And then you got to get all these reflections in there. All these reflections is what really makes one of these type of paintings pretty. And this building right here, see we're going to have that rooftop right there, that the gable on that building that's above this one. That's a critical point in this whole thing. And then as it comes across, and then you get these lights back in here. We get all that in there. Boy, we got lights all in here. Watch it. I want to show you something. I want to show you something, how fun this can be. I'm going to take a little liner brush. And watch. All of a sudden, we're going to build a city. We're going to build a city of light. And I'm trying to mimic what, and they're not all just whites. You add a little yellow and then a little whatever here and there, and over in here you got some bigger light. But then you just add this stuff in, and then when you get a little paint on there, move it around a little bit. All right. See, we're beginning to get some city lights back in there. And some of them are not all white. Some of them have some light, different color light. And then some of them will have a distinct path that those lights take. How fun. How fun. And I'll do that all throughout this, but what I was wanting to get at was this building right here. And I need a little more yellow. This building right here. Now, and it goes right back to over in this area. It's a little bit of that same color. Yeah, we'll work it all out. How fun. All right, when I look at this photograph, I see some buildings or something back in here. It's kind of, I don't know what that is. We're gonna put it in though. I don't know what it is. But it's pretty dark. I don't know what that is. Makes it interesting though. It kind of comes, actually kind of, come on, it can leave it over part of that area. Now then that we got these sharp lines going, we're gonna sharpen this up between the sky and the foreground. We'll sharpen that up just a little bit. Maybe even a little bit more. Maybe even a little bit more. Right there. Dark, 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 dark. I want it dark, dark, dark as it can be. Okay. We'll get there. We'll get there. This might be a little bit out of perspective. We'll see when I get this tower in there. Changed a few things, added a few things. I added the tower in, since you've seen me. And a few other things. I started working on this building here in the mid front, and then this building over here that's in the forefront. I will do all that, and I can hardly wait to start putting in these street scenes because that's where all the glow is going to happen. But the identity is going to be that tower, and here is the photograph of what I'm trying to depict, and it's not that far away. Hey, we'll get there, guys. You just have to watch. You just have to follow Gary Mac. Hey, GaryMacStudio.com. Love y'all. Follow me. Hey, it helps my pocketbook. It don't cost you nothing except to mash a button. Okay, guys, I'm going to reiterate a couple of things here. I'm going to show you, and as I stated before, if you can see my hands, how shaky they are. It's a condition. My grandmother and my mom had a sister were diagnosed with what's it called, palsy. So I hadn't had mine analyzed or diagnosed, but I figured it's probably the same thing. Anyway, I made this little stencil here where I could paint a straight line through that little slit in a piece of paper, and it didn't work. It didn't work that well, so I had to devise another way to do this because I couldn't see where to lay the paper to where the line is supposed to go. And gosh, that's a hindrance for me, especially when you're trying to paint something with all these straight lines in it like this, like a building. And back up in here, back up in this area right here, all of these straight lines were just impossible for me to freehand. And as I went along, I tried different methods, and this worked a little bit, and it kind of worked, but it was too slow. It didn't work. So here a little later on in the video, I'll show you what I did to compensate for that. That was a lot easier, and we'll come to that segment here in a little bit. But I tried this, and I got you on overdrive here. But it kind of worked, but it kind of didn't work. So it was too time consuming. And even in that, you can see right here, I had to go in and erase some of that, and cover over it, and do it again because I got my lines out of perspective. So I couldn't see what I was doing with that piece of paper. And we'll go on here in a little bit and show you what I did to compensate, and it worked pretty good. Okay. The photograph. Here's a photograph of what they wanted painting on here. This Christmas tree thingy here, I'm gonna have to move it over about right here. I've got it too far to the left. The church, I've kind of blocked in, I've got to refine this. It's not true to this. But I'm getting closer and closer on my buildings and the structures and how this is going to go. And it is so much fun, guys. Golly. If y'all can see, let me see if I can bring you up. Let me bring you up to the photograph. See all this activity going on down here? Here's a bus. Here's a guy walking into this corner right here of this building. And this is what makes that painting interesting. Okay, the church. Okay, I've kind of got a little bit, it's a little bit out of perspective, but we'll correct that. And then see this? These minute details, like, see this building right here, and then here's the roof of this building. It's just barely showing. Well, that's what I'm going to portray here. And I will accentuate it a little bit so you will kind of see it more. Anyway, hey guys, look at that. Isn't that a beautiful picture? Isn't that so beautiful? And guess what? This is going to be more beautiful when I get through with it. This is one of those days where I'm not so shaky. Some days I'm real shaky, some days I'm not. Some days I can draw a straight line, and then some days there's no way. So I'm coming in here and trying to get these straight lines over here on there to get portrayed down in here. So we just pick up some paint And let's get, I'm not so shaky. I've still got to use both hands. But I want to get some of these fine lines in over here on this building. And now that I'm not so shaky today, all right, we got that one right there. That one needs to be brighter. Yeah, we're gonna make this one a little bit brighter right here. Right here. We're gonna make that one bright. And over here, I've counted off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then all these little guys right here. I want to take some black paint, and I want to, let me get it on the brush. Usually I'm not that stable. But this is what I want to freehand. I wish I could do it like I did when I was in my 20s. Alright, see this right here? I need to add just a little bit of, white right under this, like that, to give it that glow. Let me zoom in and see if y'all can see what I'm trying to do. What I'm trying to duplicate. Alright. This light right here is too bright. Let's darken it up just a little bit. And let's sanction it in, but it's got a little bit of a, I don't know what that is. Anyway, we'll put some in there. I can't project exactly how it is, but we'll get a similarity of. Let me get some more bright colors. Let me get a little bit more white. I'm gonna get a little bit more white in these brown colors, because right across here. Yeah. Well, I don't know. That might not be too bright. There we go. That looks like light. Now how fun is that? Look, boy, it's showing those lights shining down in there. Hey, I love it, don't y'all? I'm gonna bring some of this down. I'm gonna bring some of this down into this area. I want to bring some of this down into that area. How about that? That looks like light shining on that, doesn't it? I hope. We want that to glow down on the side of that building. My painting's gonna be more beautiful than the photograph. Y'all watch. I gotta mix up some more paint, and we're going to put some more of these. We're gonna put some more of these. Uh-oh. How fun is that, guys? We're gonna make this work one way or another. There's a whole lot of little windows in there I gotta put. There's a whole lot of little windows I gotta put in there. It's gonna be fun. But I do need to lighten up some of this. A little bit. We're gonna make it. We're gonna make it. I want to lighten up this quite a bit. I want to talk a little bit about how the way I perceive things when I look at them. I think of being an artist, if I've got a beautiful sunset, I don't see just a beautiful sunset. I sit there and analyze it, how it's constructed. I look at the focal points, the vanishing points, the whole general composition of what I see in that sky. I don't see it as just, I see it as a work of art. And trying to capture that is the goal for me on the canvas. And I've got some paintings that I've been working on for months, years even, some of them. And then I'll lose sight, I'll lose perspective. And then I'll look at it maybe a year later and think, wow, look at that. I see what's wrong with it now. When I struggled with it when I was doing it. And all of a sudden it may be sitting there 3 or 4 years, maybe 10 years. And I'll look at that and I say, wow, that's not too bad, but I see what's wrong with it now. And then I go back and I'll fix it and usually wind up with a nice piece of art. And I don't know, that's just the way we can be driving down the road and I'll go, wow, did you see that? And anybody in the car with me goes, see what? I said, you didn't see that big old beautiful red tree over there, or that gold tree, or did you see those pretty mountains way back in there with the snow caps on? I sit there and analyze that stuff. I know I'm weird. Anyway, that's kind of the way an artist's mind works. And then getting those images, whether it's contemporary, whether it's abstract, getting it on the canvas, that's the goal. In my faculties, this right here is out of proportion from this. So I gotta take some of this. blue. Actually, let me clean up my brush. So actually, I'm gonna take some this dark color and draw a line across here and across here. So now then, I'll take some of this blue, some of this really beautiful blue color, and bring it up. Bring it up in here. And then I want to take a black line. I'm going to take actually, let me clean my brush out real good. Actually, I need to get my little guy. Where'd my little guy go? All right, guys. We're gonna take these purple colors like we got over here in this area, and make it just a little bit brighter. We'll put a little white in this purple. Put a little white in that purple. Maybe just a touch of red. Maybe just a touch of red in there. Yeah. We'll see how this works. Oh yeah, look at this. Let's bring this down. I want to put a little bit right here and then pull it down. Let's see if we can kind of zoom in on what I'm doing here a little bit. Guys, I'm trying to do this on my cell phone, and what a hassle. What a hassle. All right, let me see if I can. All right, and kind of zoom you in on what I'm doing right here. It's just simple. Put some paint on and pull it down. Actually, it needs to be a little bit more, a little brighter than that even. A little brighter than that. Let's see how this works. Right here, there's a little bit of a whatever in the photograph. So we'll take some of this, put up here, and pull it down just a little bit. Could use a little more. Even this one, a little more. This one. Anyway, you get it. We're gonna get that purple color in there, one way or another. And the further back we go, the darker I'm gonna get that purple, just a little bit. I'm gonna get just a little bit darker. Kind of back in here. ain't very dark, is it? Just a smudge of paint. I'll clean my brush. Now we're here on this side. We had some blue. Cerulean blue. Bright blue. Come in here like this. Actually, wouldn't hurt to have a little bit of white. Wouldn't hurt to have a little bit of white in there even to show up a little better. Here, here, here. Let's just pull it down because these acrylics dry really fast. So much fun to work with. I've worked with oils. I like working with acrylics. I like working with acrylics. All right. How fun. We got right up in here in this area. There's a blue window. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, the third right here. It's kind of showing a blue window right there in the photograph. Anyway, we're gonna make this one way or another. All right. Now watch. I want to take some pure black and right underneath this. Boy, I'm so nervous. I'm so nervous. All right. We're dividing everything up now. And even down here, we're going to straighten this up with a line. Even across here. You're going to have some broken lines here because we got so many lights going on. Yeah, we're going to have fun. I'll probably have to come back and refine these again. But y'all can kind of see how this is going to go. Yeah, it's going to be fun. The Christmas tree. All right, let me get the Christmas tree. It's going to be kind of right here. And then there's a, whatever this is around it. Whatever that is around it. Darn it, I didn't have getting focus on. Anyway, right there is where the Christmas tree is going to go. You can see how steady my hand is. The Christmas tree is going to go right here. Christmas tree is going to go right there. Let's back up and look at it. Yeah. I'm trying to get you guys situated here. Here we go. Let's go up and look at it. Hey, I'm not that far away from it. You can look. Here's a photograph. And here's where I am on the painting. Hey, this is gonna be fun. It's gonna be beautiful when I get there. This is one of those I don't wanna give up. This is one of those I don't want to give up. And look at this. When I get through, it's gonna be pretty. So, what we have to do is get all this to similar to that. I don't want it. These are just all of that. What you see here is just tiny brush strokes. So I'm going to take a dark color, and what I want to do is I want to run this up a little bit and pull this paint up just a little bit. To give that illusion of shadows. Watch what happens when I put this across here. Watch. Blend all that in, right in this area. And across there. And we're going to do the same thing down here, except this one, I'm going to have to take some of this light color, bring it down just a little bit, down into this area. You know, I am not confined to just painting pictures. I love to do wood turning. I love wood. I love working with wood. I love everything about wood. And I've been a carpenter. And a carpenter was my trade for many years. And I dabble in sculpting. I like to sculpt wood. I've been dabbling in casting metals. I've built my own furnace, and I've built my own crucibles, and I've built my own tongs. I made them all forge them out of steel. And I've got a little forge that I make knives and small stuff with. I've done castings with composites. Gosh, I go around, I go from one thing to another, and if I look at something that intrigues me, and I go, wow, I got to try that. That's the way I am. That's the way my mind works. I'm not chained to just one media. Yeah, I got a bunch of them. And like I say, if I see something that intrigues me, fireworks. You know what? I've got boxes of stuff out there that I make fireworks with. I love learning about the chemicals and their reactions, how they work. Made my own fireworks, and that's so much fun. I love fireworks. That's a work of art that, man, you know what? If I started all over young, I'd be a pyrotechnician. But fishing, I love fishing. That's a work of art. In fact, right now I'm carving some fish. I'm carving a fish display, and it's going to be quite involved. And I figure it'll take me six months or longer to do this project, because there's going to be multiple fish in it in a aquarium type setting, and I'll carve them out of wood, paint them up, and I guarantee you they'll look like a fish or fishes. There's going to be a bunch of them in there. So I love doing all kinds of stuff. I'll try anything once. I've tried a lot of stuff and failed at a lot of things, but I succeeded in a lot of things also. And painting, I'm pretty I'm pretty satisfied with my accomplishments in painting. You always strive to be better, and that takes practice, and it takes a lot of practice. I love playing the guitar. I might even put a little segment in here in this where I pick on the guitar a little bit. I don't know. In fact, I probably should have. Music in some of this reel. But anyway, what I'm doing now is I'm trying to get these reflections from those buildings down on a wet street, and you'll see in the finished painting where those reflections will shine down on that street, and that's what makes this type of painting really beautiful, is those light reflections on the wet surface. And it just gives a depth, a glow, a realism. Makes you want to be there and walk down that street. It's so beautiful. So here we're going to step up the speed again and let's just go through here and see how this happens. In my storefront in my webpage, I have a quote in there, and it's real simple. I put, "Just do it." An inquisitive mind is a healthy mind. It seeks things out. It tests things. It experiments with things. It tries things. An inquisitive mind, if you don't do it, if you don't try, then it's just wasted. I try and make use of that. I try to make use of, wow, that's pretty interesting. I wonder if I can do that. Well, a man can wonder until he's in a grave. Until you try. Just do it. Okay? I did it and failed. I'm not going to touch it again. That's not the way I work. I failed. Well, let's see how I failed, and then let me see if I can fix what I failed in and make it a positive. That's the way my mind works. And gosh, folks, I could lead you out there into my studio. I cannot tell you how many different projects I've got out there that I've tried and succeeded in nearly every one of them, because if I failed, I tried and tried again. Okay, I did it. This is what my goal was. And then when I get there, I find out, well, this really doesn't appeal to me to keep doing this. I want to go to something else and see if there's something else that appeals greater. And as I said, I could take you out there in my studio, and I can think of at least 15 or 20 different operations out there, from painting to sculpting to wood turning to cabinet making to furniture making to Okay, guys, let's work on these buildings a little bit. Welcome to K-Mac Studio. Here we go. All right. Look at see the photograph, and you see these really dark black areas right along here. Well, we got to put those in. So we're gonna put those in right now. Just take some very dark color, and I have to look at it a second. Right here, we got a little here. We got a little here. And I'm just gonna push it up a little bit with my finger. Right here. I may not have enough paint on my brush, and I don't. I gotta get some more paint on there. All these little minute details are they're important. They don't have to be just exactly like what's in the photograph. Just a hint, because in this type of a painting, up close it doesn't look like much. It looks just like a bunch of paint smeared on there. But when you step back, the average distance for viewing a painting is 6 foot. But you can step back 6 foot from that and look at it, and all of those colors, they'll start blending in, and you don't see all of them, the little imperfections. What you see is just a hint of what is actually there. And that's what impressionism is just making a similarity of and applying paints in the right place, the right colors, the right hues, lights and darks, and getting those contrasts. Because without the contrast from the lights and darks, you're not going to have much as far as getting a perspective. So let's just watch and see. All right, guys, we're going to start putting some lights in these windows. We're going to start putting some lights in these windows. What I'm telling you. This is more fun than I need to get a little bit different shade of this brown color. It'll go between a little darker than that. And just right along this. Okay, I sped this up so it won't, because this is kind of a lengthy process right here. So I sped it up so it won't take up a bunch of your time, but you can get an idea of how I'm getting these highlights in there. Everything up to that point where I started putting in these highlights was just an underpainting. And now all these And it's taking it to a place where I can put all these sparkles and twinkles and all the stuff that really makes a painting beautiful. And so without that base, without that underpainting, foundation, you've got to have it. You just got to have it. Or it's not going to work. And that's what is enabled any artist to get to a point of all this detail is from the underpainting, the foundation. And then it's like building a house. You start with the foundation, and then you start with the frame, and then after you get the frame up, then all the hard work really begins, all the slow work. The foundation and the framing of a house and getting a roof on it, they go really quick. That can just happen in a matter of just 2 or 3 weeks. But all the stuff on the inside, all the painting, all the sheetrocking, and all the wiring, and all the stuff that goes in there, cabinets, and all the plumbing, and everything, that's what takes all the time. And the reason I know that because I've built houses. And so what, 2 or 3 weeks to frame it up, and 3 or 4 months to do the rest of it. And that's kind of what we got right here. It didn't take me very long, just a few hours to get that foundation in there. But I've been working on these details like this for weeks. And as I said, I can only work on it for 2 or 3 hours a day. And not every day. Some days I have other things to do besides this. But see, all these little blobs of paint I'm putting on there right now. This is putting the fixtures in. This is getting all your plumbing and everything hooked up and turned on, the lights on. So that's actually what I'm doing here is constructing a building. Not so different from actually building the thing. See, and the brighter that I put those in there, the better it looks. You start getting that glow. All those beautiful colors. I love doing this. And when you compare what I've got up there right now in the painting to the photograph, well, you can see the differences, but not that different. And they're pretty close. As I said, I don't want this to look like a photograph. I want it to look like a painting. And the way I can accomplish that is look at the paint. That one little line there was a little bit out of perspective, so I had to come in and straighten that one up right there because it was kind of angled up a little bit. But it's so much fun. I'd love to give art lessons or painting, art lessons, painting lessons, wood carving, wood turning, all that stuff. See what it is. My mom had it. My grandma had it. My grandma was like this. And I'm serious. It was this bad with my grandma. My mom was pretty bad. And I'm getting pretty bad. So in order to draw, paint a straight line on here, I devised a little stick here. And I'll bring you up here so you can see. I'll bring you up so I can see that I can take this and I can take this and use it as a guide to make a line, a straight line, because it's because I can't draw a straight line without some kind of aid. And this is the best thing I came up with right now. This I got you on high speed here, and I'm just doing a voiceover recording. And as I watch myself paint, you know, it's pretty interesting watching myself paint. I did a lot of things in there that I really didn't realize that I do, especially when I was putting in the underpaint. Because when I was putting that black on there, I wasn't conscious of when I was applying that paint. I actually applied that black paint on there, and on the brush strokes, they were in the shape of these buildings. And I didn't even realize I did that until I watched my own video. And several other things, little things that I did in there that I wasn't conscious of. It just became automatic. And I really didn't think about it until I saw my own video here. And it's pretty interesting to watch myself paint. I told my wife, I said, hey, this guy's pretty good. Let me clean my brush out. I'm going to have to boil my palette. Let me show you my palette. Let me show you my palette. Let me take you off of this tripod and let's look down at my palette. Y'all see my palette? This palette is got to be restored because I've got everything so mixed up. And it just bleeding out and running everywhere because these are acrylics. And look, I'm going to take this. I'm going to take this. I'm going to fold it up. This is a piece of paper. And these are acrylics. These are water-based paint. I'm going to take my palette and discard it into the trash. So I'm going to make a new palette. And this may be in a, hold on, let me put you back on the tripod. Let me put you back on the tripod and see if I can get you down. These are acrylics. This is a wet sponge. It's wet. It's very moist. So I have to take a piece of this palette paper. I have to take a, let me back up a little bit. So I have to take a piece of this palette paper and what I have to do is soak this. I have to soak it in water. Let me find my squirt bottle. I don't know. It's around here somewhere. It's around here somewhere in all my So what I want to do is soak this piece of paper with water, because and some I can keep these acrylics wet for, I can keep them wet for several days, but if I did not have this wet palette for acrylics, this stuff would this stuff would be dry tomorrow. So let me I'm gonna, and the sponge is wet. I made sure the sponge is wet underneath this. I'm gonna kind of dry off the top of this a little bit with a paper towel, because if you get it too wet, those paints will thin out to where they're practically just unusable. They're like trying to paint water. They're trying to like paint water on the surface. So let me smooth this all out like it's supposed to be. All right. And for instructional purposes, I want to show you how I set up my palette. I set up my palette the same way every time. Every time. I want to make sure this is not too wet. It's damp, but it's not wet. Got this sponge underneath it. So I always set it up the same way every time. I've got, and these are acrylics. This is Liquitex acrylic paint. I want to, and it's just about dry. I got to squeeze some of this out. I've got another tube of it. I don't need much of it, just a little. Just a little. That's enough. And then from there, this way, I've got my light blue. This is cerulean blue. So, well, it's about empty. I've got some more over here, but I like to squeeze every bit out that is in there. There we are. There's some cerulean blue. Here's some ultramarine blue. Cerulean blue is on the lighter side. Ultramarine blue is kind of, ultramarine blue is kind of on the red side of blue. And then from here, we go over. Well, I can't find my paint. Here we go. What? Where is it? Where is it? My purple oxide. Where is it? Where is it? My purple oxide. Oh, here it is. Yeah, right in front of me. This is a purple. What it is, this purple is, and it's kind of thin. I have to. This is diazonine purple, and what it is a combination of blue and a darker medium. So we got light blue, medium blue, and actually this is purple because it's got blue in it with red in it. And let me show you. Let me show you. Let's look. Watch this. Watch this. And we got a white surface here. I want to just smear this down a little bit. See that? Actually, this is this colors with a little bit of red in it. So you get that purple color. And I use that a lot. And then from here, I go to a burnt umber. Burnt umber. And at the moment, I can't find my burnt umber. And I'm just about through. And it looks pretty much like the photograph. Of course, this is just impressionistic. It's just, if you get up close and look, it's just little smears of paint everywhere. Just little smears of paint. I don't want it to look like a photograph. I want it to look like a painting. And so that's where I'm at on this one. And I wanted to show you guys my easel. See if I'm working on this area up here, I can do this. Or if I need to work on this area down here, I can just pick this thing up and move it up to where I can work on this bottom area. My easel is pretty cool. I made it myself. Anyway, there's another little painting I've been working on. I had to break off to get this one done. So I'll finish that one here one of these days. And here's the finished painting. And it's very hard to get a decent photograph using your cell phone and stuff. It just spur of the moment, I had to take these pictures and get them to the recipient, and it turned out pretty good though. Got it in frame, and she's got it on the wall. It's coming up right here in just a second. It will show you where she's got this thing hanging, and it looks pretty good. What do y'all think? I like it. And hey guys, y'all go to GaryMaxStudio.com, print giveaway, and sign up for the print giveaway. If you go there, it's got a picture of the print that I'm giving away, and it's really very beautiful. And actually one of my very favorite of all my paintings. Y'all go there and visit GaryMaxStudio.com and look at all the my artwork that's for sale. Okay, here's the picture of the giveaway that I'm giving away, and I'll put up there what at the end of this of how to sign up for the giveaway. It's $170, I think it was $179 value. I forgot. It's something like that. That's a 16 by 20 print. So, man, you guys sign up, and I'll put it up here in just a moment. And hey, y'all subscribe to Gary Max Studio here on YouTube, and tell all your friends about it. Because I'm going to do one of these giveaways about every 3 or 4 months, probably about 4 months, 3 months, 4 months. The giveaway on this one will end in June 1st. So y'all sign up, love y'all, and we'll catch you on the turnaround. One of these days I'll explain what I mean by catch you on the turnaround. Bye-bye, love you.